Welcome to Tsukuba 2000 Full, a really small track, one that is maybe too small for the Porsche Cup, but I love it nonetheless. Turn 1, we have pretty tight hairpin. Turn 4, which is your next real corner, another hairpin. That will lead underneath a couple of very fast corners and under the Dunlop bridge, arch, balloon, something that says Dunlop on it. Turn 8 is another hairpin, and then you head down the very long straight after turn 8 to, guess what? Not really a hairpin, but kind of. It's like a long sweeping right-hander, which is basically just a really big hairpin if you think about it. Now, to shake everything up, that's right, it is a night race, and it is damn near impossible to see unless somebody has their headlights pointed at your car, and that means that people are going to be implementing this blinking technique, which is used to kind of distract the driver ahead of you. It's a real-life technique, and surprise, it's a real-life driver. But who is this ENZO FITTIPALDI?
This is the last corner of the last lap, and what a celebration for the boy from Brazil. ENZO FITTIPALDI can finally call himself an F2 race winner.
Get down in the car, don't give it all, bust it open hard, let me see you drive. Get down in the car, one time give it all, bust it open hard, let me see you drive.
And now he's trying to make it happen. ENZO FITTIPALDI has the fastest lap of the race. He climbs one, he gets past another one, trying to get past him, trying to sweep around the outside and take the lead in some style.
So yeah, we'll get back to him. Right now we're hopping into qualifying, and I'm leaving up my telemetry data so that you guys can see my inputs specifically for qualifying. I'll kind of bring it up in the race as well. Crossing onto what will be my final lap of quali. My first lap was a 54.86, pretty good, but I had been doing 54.6s and 7s with race fuel, so I felt like I could go better than that. Had a pretty solid turn 1, and it's a very short run until turn 4, which is the second hairpin, and honestly this one's more like a carousel, a lot of camber, as is the next hairpin that we'll come up on. You want to hustle the car to the left to set up for the right-hander, just barely get on the brakes, enough to get that nose gripped up, and then you can turn in, and it should be full throttle around here. I am lifting on my qualifying laps. I just wasn't quite sure how hard I could send it. I hadn't actually done any qualifying up until this point. Cutting back for a really good exit out of turn 8, which is the third hairpin, and down the very long straight until we reach the really interesting turn 9. You turn in early, so you're braking while turning here, and you want to kind of extend out, so it's kind of like a double apex. Cut back for a bit of a slightly late second apex, stay on the track, and that is a 54.57, my best time so far, and the third best time of the week overall. It put us P2 in this race behind Philip Hammer 2, who's very fast, and ENZO FITTIPALDI was behind us, delivering intense amounts of aura with no livery on, which is something that just happens when you're a real driver. You don't put a livery on and you deliver aura. Now, lap 1, I'm sorry for saying aura 2 times in a row like that. Anyway, good launch. The car ahead gets a really good launch too, but Fittipaldi having a nightmare launch, immediately putting his racecraft on display, squeezing the inside car behind him who was looking to overtake, and then opening up that corner for himself, giving himself a much better line, and he maintains P3, doesn't even lose that much time to me. I lost more time to the car ahead than he did to me, which is pretty crazy considering everything he had to do in turn 1 right there. Now, I am sad to admit this, but my focus was 100% on Fittipaldi behind. It shouldn't have been, because I think if I am totally locked in, I have the pace to stay with Philip, especially on this track. I've driven this track quite a lot, and Philip is the leader, by the way, but my attention was just totally on ENZO behind, and I think that that is probably due to the fact that, I mean, he's an F2 driver, an F2 race winner, as you saw, and I've heard a lot about him on iRacing. People tell me when they race against him. I've never seen him before. This is my first time, and I have him right behind me. I just felt like something was going to transpire this race, and something did. Quite a lot did. One of my favorite races in recent memory, probably in all memory. Just most of my memory is recent because I, like many, forget things as time goes on. Super deep into turn 8, pretty unconsequential for us, but P4, car number 4 and P4 slides out. Everybody gets around him, but that really affects us in a way that would crack this entire race open, because now ENZO has nobody behind him for 2.5 seconds. He has nothing to worry about. His attention is 100% on me, the car ahead, and he is going to show that pretty quickly as we head onto lap 3, turn number 1, and I think this is the first time this race he does this, but it will not be the last. Starts flashing me. He was like after turn 1, after turn 8, sometimes after this corner right here. I think this lap actually he does it, and I am falling off of Philip, but I knew that I could catch him and stay with him if I really had all of my attention ahead, but it just was not there, as my attention was behind me, and then the lights flashing, you know, that just helps to refocus my attention to ENZO, who is still flashing me down the back straight onto lap number 4. And this is around the point where I kind of decided my fight is going to be with ENZO. I was already so focused back there, and to really force that in, I'm going to go deep into turn number 4. Still managed to stay ahead, and I actually find space on the left side to open up the Dunlop corner for myself. Thank God, because if you get stuck on the inside there, it kind of messes up your line all of the way until turn 8 right here, which will be a series of events that comes into play throughout this race. Now I do go deep into turn 8 again, and you can tell that the pressure is getting to me. I was definitely getting into my own head, and flashing lights was definitely helping me get and stay there. He peeps to the inside. I don't actually remember seeing that in race, so I think my attention was ahead enough that I wasn't thrown off by him kind of taking a look inside. However, the lights were very hard to ignore. On to lap number 5, and Philip Hammer is now a 2.5 seconds up the road. I take a super inside line, which just further shows how much in my head I am, defending extremely tight into turn 1, and I decided to commit to the idea of defense, defending into turn 4, taking a narrow entrance, but carrying too much speed for that angle and throwing myself so deep that ENZO is going to slide up the inside, and I'm getting oversteer on my way out, and I knew I had to settle down at this point. It's only lap 5 of 27. This is a 27 lap race. It's pretty long. I mean, I think it's actually the same length as any P Cup race, but the track is just so short that it feels like you're driving around for a very long time. As we get onto the back straight, it looks like I'm flashing ENZO here, and you'll kind of see that throughout the race, but I'm not actually flashing him. I think it was light from different cars coming across the track or something. I did not flash him. I'm just going to state that right now. I never flashed him this race. And flashing in general, I feel like it's slightly controversial. I see people talking about it on Reddit or on Discord or just in threads about how some people despise drivers who flash other drivers. But I mean, it's kind of like using a horn on the road for what it's meant to be used for, right? Which is like to communicate. Or, I mean, of course, people can abuse it and use it as an advantage, as a weapon, which he has, and it's worked successfully. But being behind him, I noticed that he wasn't actually that fast. He was making a lot of mistakes, and maybe it's not that he wasn't fast, but he seemed to be pretty inconsistent, drifting especially wide on turn 1 occasionally, and through that final corner. I felt like through that final corner I was actually faster than him on average, but he is, of course, a very experienced real-life driver, so I'm sure that he's working things out as he goes around. You know, he may not have done that much practice and is just relying on his instincts. He did make a big mistake into turn 1 just now, though, and we are right back on his tail, 2/10 away from him. It's only been 2 laps since he has taken P2 away from us, so I wasn't in a huge rush to get this position back. I kind of made up my mind that I would keep my car on the inside of some hairpins to see if maybe he would outbrake himself and get caught looking in the mirrors. But other than that, I didn't really want to force anything. There's just so long to go, and with this many hairpins on such a small track, it's really easy to scrub your tires and look for a bit of extra angle right on the exit, which in turn overheats your tires and will slow you down and basically just lessen the amount of grip that you have with your front tires as the race goes on. So I'm trying to avoid that. Lap number 8, little peep to the inside. Like I said, I don't think he really bit on that too hard. You generally are kind of braking at an angle there for turn 1, which does make it a really hard corner to dive as well. I mean, basically all of these corners are pretty hard to make a dive happen unless you are right on their tail. However, ENZO goes pretty deep into turn 4 there, stays on the right side. He is able to cut across to the left side, but even still, he misses the apex, kind of comes out at a bit of a wide angle through the Dunlop corner, and that's kind of what I was talking about, where you mess up your run through turn 4, and that line is kind of messed up all of the way until turn 8 right here. Very minor version of that, as he did kind of get his car back to the left before going underneath the Dunlop Bridge. I believe that's what it's called. I think I found it. The Dunlop Bridge. Into turn 9, and I just about rear-end him. Get on throttle a bit late just in case he did that as well. If I had gotten on at my normal time and he had waited just a smidge later, could have very easily made contact, but I found myself getting right onto his bumper through a lot of these corners, and I really just found some more confidence in my pace while I was sitting behind him, which is something that I'm never really, I'm not afraid to say that I do get in my own head sometimes when somebody is behind me, and it's just much easier to take that pressure off, switch positions, which happened kind of by force in this race as I didn't want to give him P2. But now that I am here, I can use it to my advantage, find some comfortability with myself, with the track. This was my first race on this track, actually my only one so far. I plan to do more later, but this one was just so good that after I was done with this one, I hung it up and I was like, you know what, if that's all I get, that is fantastic. Now almost into the back of him again as we go around corner number 9, which second lap in a row, I figured, you know, I'm probably taking it a little bit too deep there. Need to focus on getting the car stopped slightly earlier turned and getting on throttle earlier as well. Lap 10, and the laps are actually starting to wind down pretty fast. I really wanted to try and do something soon and see if I could hold that lead again and kind of lead the charge between the two of us at least. I mean, Philip is totally gone, 3 seconds up the road. He was probably putting 2 or 3 tenths between himself and ENZO and me every single lap. So I wanted to try and fight, and bad way to do that is tuck to the inside when it's so late that they don't even notice. Like, he was already focused on his braking. I don't think he even noticed that I pulled to the inside there. So all that I did was pull myself off of him by a couple of tenths. But who knows? Maybe an eye caught it and it got him in the mood to slightly defend or push a little bit harder, because he goes super deep into turn 4, opens up an opportunity for me to just for a second go side by side. He has to swing to the left pretty late here, and I'm hoping this messes up his line all of the way through to turn 8. But he is fully committed through what is that flat out left-hander, and I am not. So he basically gets that gap right back to where it was before, and I'm still not doing anything too aggressive. I didn't want to. He made a mistake, and that was the only reason that I really kind of put myself in there. My current objective between me and ENZO was turn 1. You've seen me looking to the inside over and over again, and I'm kind of trying different places to tuck to the inside, different amounts of turning to try that. My real purpose is to get him to turn in early or to get him to go deep, which he wasn't doing either of. As a matter of fact, I was just hurting myself every single time. I'm probably overheating that lap I definitely put a bit of unnecessary heat into my tires, but over the course of the whole race, it just was not a very good turn 1 performance from me. Like, it was a very half-assed move, and to get something really done, especially on somebody who is as experienced as he is, I think you have to really commit. And talk about committing late on the brakes into turn 1, almost making contact with ENZO, managing to stay on track, but opening up a pretty significant gap. That's the biggest it's been in a long time, about 6 tenths. And this does open up an opportunity for me still. You might think that you know, it's better to be right on somebody, which it really is. Like, I would rather be right on him, but when you fall back like this, it gives you the opportunity to show your pace. And, you know, say you drop a second off of somebody and then within 2 laps you're back to 3 tenths, that can show that driver ahead that you do have pace and kind of put pressure on them. And he does make a mistake into turn 1 on the next lap, and I honestly believe that he was thinking that he would drop me after I would make this mistake or that mistake. But every single time that I fell off, I was able to claw back basically to about that 3/4 tenth range pretty quickly, usually within like a lap or maybe 2, and it's a short lap, so I think that it was in his head. It may not have been, but from my perspective, that's what I am believing he's thinking, and the way that I was seeing him drive was kind of reflecting that. All of this is to say that, yes, racing is extremely mental, and throughout this entire race, I wasn't talking to anybody but myself in my own head. But the way that you talk to yourself can give you advantages. Like, maybe he's actually not paying attention to any of these things that I'm telling you, but they are giving me more confidence and allowing me to perform better and just feel better and more comfortable in the car relative to him. Okay, rant over. Am I schizo? Who knows? Does anybody else do that? I don't know. Lap number 17, 10 laps to go, and we're still about 4 tenths behind him. He goes very, very deep into turn 1, but when you do go deep, if you do it correctly, you can basically just get a rocket exit, which is what he does here. Something else that I think may be worth mentioning is that I had heard a lot about ENZO this week, especially from some people. I'm not going to name anyone, but heard that he was being a bit of a dirty driver and just making reckless dives. So that had been in my head at the start of this race, but I hadn't seen anything that was speaking to that yet. We'll see if something arises as the race goes on. Not a great run through turn 8 for him. We actually make up a little bit of time, not to mention we have slipstream down this back straight. The back straight isn't quite long enough for that to make a huge difference unless you are right on someone's tail and you get a really good exit out of turn 8. So I was basically just totally negating the idea of slipstream. this track just felt so small and these cars were so fast that it didn't really matter. It didn't seem to matter. Now into turn 1, we're going to kick off what's going to be a pretty interesting lap. Our first time really trying to throw him off in the exact way that I was saying earlier. If somebody goes wide into turn 4, right here, he enters wide, it opens up space on the inside. I use the inside to try and angle my car towards the apex of this next corner, making him defend it, hoping that he would think I was going to dive that. He does, which kind of throws him off going into through under the Dunlop bridge. And then same thing here, I'm just staying in the middle of the track a bit later to try and get him to defend. He takes a narrow entry, and I do not make nearly as good of use as I should have. Now I want to rewind it to before any of that happened to kind of display why I think this worked. I had heard that he had been really aggressive all week, so just keep that in mind. I figured that coming out of here, he's offline. You need to get to the left side here, which is why nobody ever opens it up as much as I currently am to the right. So I'm going all of the way over here to get it in his mind that I'm about to make this dive for this apex, which is something I bet he's done this week, and I think that's the only reason that this bit him, because it's a pretty uncommon move and it's a low percentage one, but nonetheless, just me going over here keeps him from going all of the way wide. He stays really tight there, even though I think he probably could have hustled the car to some degree. He was also pretty far to the right, he was rejoining, but even in this instance, he stays in the middle to defend what would have been a massive dive. Now, I made zero use of that whatsoever. We're skipping ahead to lap number 20. I had kind of taken a backseat for just a minute and then let my guard down on my driving itself and just really start to oversteer into turn 1, losing quite a lot of time, carrying way too much speed there. I did not brake enough initially, and I open up that gap to 0.8 seconds, which is not great. There are 7 laps left to go. I had caught up with him from a gap like this before, so I wasn't all that concerned about it, but I was definitely beating myself up just a little bit. And a bit of a wiggle from him out of turn 8. It seems pretty minor, but after me making that mistake, just that little bit of him getting loose on that exit kind of helps keep me in the right headspace. And as I said earlier, some people will say, you know, don't talk to yourself, don't get in your head too much, which I agree with to an extent, but I think it's also good to be able to lead yourself back to a good mindset. If you do start to lose your head, it's good to have that ability to find things that bring the confidence back to you. Now, talk about bringing confidence back. I'm going to need that right now because we are not really making much progress right now. We're actually losing time, both me and him driving off of the track there as we head into turn 4, which has notably been his worst corner, and again he's going to go deep through it. This time it seems he gets on throttle really early, ends up allowing a lot of space on the inside for us to slide into, and we go side by side through corner number 5 towards 6, the very fast left-hander, and still same thing, side by side. We're giving each other space, and he's going to be narrow here on entry, so I have to fix the problem that I had last time. I need to cut down and get on throttle early, which I managed to do. A little bit of oversteer, but having him pinned to the inside like that definitely opened up my advantage there, and he's trying to move over as I'm looking for space on the inside into turn number 9. I brake way too late, lock up my front tires, go very deep into turn 9, and he looks to find space underneath me. I'm going to show my onboard just to display how quickly I was going off. I truly thought I was going off the track there. I think he was a little too eager to get on the throttle though, because he drives into the dirt as we start lap number 23. I'm looking to the inside, pull to the outside aggressively to try and repeat something similar, get a switch, get a better exit, but I just turn in too late again. Not to mention, he is really good at taking tight lines and getting really good exits for the line for how tight of a line that he is taking. So I am solidly back behind him. It's lap 23 of 27, not that much longer to go, but I was feeling it. And I'm going to show my telemetry data here so that you can see how much I was feeling it. Going into corner number 4, look at my braking. I'm wiggling. My foot was shaking. I was so excited. I haven't had this feeling in at least a year. Probably much longer, but you might know that feeling. Look at my braking. My leg was shaking. My throttle was fine, but my braking leg was shaking. I was just like, I was like, okay, I need to settle down and get my heart rate down, because my heart rate was definitely very high. So I took these next couple of laps just as smoothly as I could. I was really focusing on taking deep breaths, calming myself down. That was just so much fun. I was thinking about it. I'm locking up my brakes into turn 4. My brake trace is still very wiggly. It's very small, so it's kind of hard for you to see, but man, I was feeling it. And this is why I've said it in so many videos, but like, And it's always a different situation that brings this out of me, but this is why I love sim racing. He's deep into turn 8. I make nothing of it, but I'm just pointing out that he did go deep there. I kind of followed him deep as well. And we're running out of time here, so I needed to get my heart rate down fast so that I could get back into the action. Still really shaky on the brakes. Thankfully, I was only wiggling within like 4 or 5% of brake pressure. Sometimes you wiggle within like 10%, and that can actually kill you if you do that at the wrong time. Now, big mistake from ENZO into turn 1 as he slides out, goes super deep, and we end up going side by side. I actually had good enough of a run that I have a nose ahead going into turn 4, so I'm going to try and use that to force him to take a super tight entry. Hopefully that pushes him wide. Look to go deep myself and cut back because I realized that he's going to keep it pinned and lose a lot of speed because of that. Try and once again keep him from opening up this corner, but he does it anyway. Ends up missing the apex at the Dunlop, which gives me a really good opportunity through turn number 6, and I am absolutely hauling ass. I've got him pinned to the inside once again. Gonna try and commit the same thing. He goes super deep this time, so he does not manage to keep it hugged on the inside, and I slide through side by side. He is not letting me open up this corner whatsoever. He has like a couple of inches of a car alongside, so he's keeping me pinned at the last second. As I expect, he's going to open it up for himself, but the inside of turn 9 is really where you want to be. It is extremely hard to make a move work around the outside of turn number 9, so I stay in P2 for the time being. Going on to the penultimate lap, I'm defending the inside. I think he was looking for an early switchback because he slams on the brakes and basically parks the car next to me. Meanwhile, I am going way under your typical speed there as I was hugging the inside. Had he committed to just going around the outside, he probably could have gotten me done there into turn 4, and he is going to get right on our ass. I'm kind of parking it and taking a pretty V-shaped line there, which is typically not what you want to do for that corner. That corner really benefits from a U-shaped line. Now, that's not something I need to worry about too much right now. I need to worry about staying out of dive range of ENZO. I'd say he's about 2/10 behind us, getting right on our bumper as we go through turn number 8. And in case you can't tell, that is dive range. I believe that he is in dive range. He's going to keep flashing us, employing every tactic that he can pull out. I was also trying to swerve down that straight to avoid what little slipstream there is as we go on to the final lap. 3/10 ahead of him, so we have about a 1/10 to play with. I don't think he's making a dive from this far, but into turn 1, I just send it way too hard, go pretty deep there, miss both apexes. It's really, you just want to apex that second one, but I missed that first one and that second one dramatically, and he fucking goes for it, diving super deep. I'm pretty sure he's off the track here, and there I go. So he was I mean, it was dive range, I suppose, but really aggressive move. I'm pretty sure that is an off track if you go the center of your car over the red and white curbing, and that sends me around. Hello, hi. Both of us are reversing for each other in what is a truly awkward interaction, and he knows what he's done. So he backs off. I definitely wasn't going super fast through turn 4 either. I went a bit deep, like mid-corner, but he waits for me and he lets me maintain P2. I'm defending turn 8, but I don't think he was actually looking for a move. He just kind of follows me around the outside there. That is P4. So we got caught up by that much. I think we had like a 12 or 11 second gap, something like that, even with all that fighting, and we almost got caught. So thankfully we didn't, and my heart is racing watching this. It feels good to see me cross the line here in P2. It was so much fun. It was fun commentating this. It was fun doing it. I just blitzed the wall because I was so excited. I very quickly realized that was a mistake because I almost killed like 2 people. That guy was super close. And then I get out of the car as soon as I could. ENZO sent me this message. ENZO, thank you for that race, man. It was amazing. Here are the results. A P2, as you saw. I mean, there's not really much to see here. The whole race was just between us two, or basically everything I showed. He's 3K iRating, but obviously he's faster than that. We're almost at 6K, which is pretty cool, and we gained a lot of safety rating, which I am only just now noticing. Also, pretty cool. I just want to say thank you, real quick, to all of you guys. I hope that you guys are having the most amazing races, because I just feel so lucky to be able to experience a race like that, and lucky to do this, so thank you guys. If you want to see more like this or support the channel, click on the video on your screen, the link in the description, and subscribe.